into cybersecurity, there's a ton of content out there, and if you don't know where to start, it can be overwhelming, even paralyzing. So let's fix that. Welcome to Simply Cyber, a community of tens of thousands of aspiring and active cybersecurity professionals focused on networking, knowledge sharing, and professional development. I'm Dr. Gerald, Auger, Chief Content Creator at Simply Cyber, inviting you to get the answers to your cybersecurity problems with hundreds of cybersecurity videos answering your frequently asked questions, interviewing industry experts, and live streaming daily cyber threat briefings hosted by me. Now get the stories and insights you won't find anywhere else. Hit subscribe now and dig into all the fresh content on the channel and in the community. Nothing should stop you from launching and leveling up your cybersecurity career today.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world that you may be. Thank you so much for tuning in to episode 416, July 26th, Top Cyber News. I hope you are doing well today. Thank you so much for joining. This is a ad hoc, impromptu type of meeting. Sorry, wrong one. Let's fire up a little bit of music here. Welcoming everybody in. I hope you are doing well today. Dr. Gerald Auger did have not to say too much about him, but he did have a injury yesterday that prevented him from being able to be here. So he does send his regards to everybody, that he's not able to attend and be able to host as normal. But I am, as always, very, very honored to be able to step into his big shoes, to be able to deliver my technical analysis of today's cyber threat briefing. With that, I want to say thanks to the show's sponsors, and I am a goofball. I did not load up the cards for them. Let me pull this up right now. Everybody just talks amongst yourselves for one moment. We do have a couple things that we'll be mentioning up in the mid-roll, and we will have I will do some jaw jacking at the end. So if you were attended some other episodes to see me in here and like, man, Eric really should have answered my question. Well, stick around. We do have a few minutes after the show, and we will be able to do some of that. I'm not able to get Panoptcy's website up over here. We having some weird DNS issues this morning. Flushed them out, everything like that. Something's acting a little funky in the interwebs today, so sorry about that. We'll go through it. If you're new to the program, you know them. So we'll just talk about this a little bit, right? So, of course, Barricade Cyber Solutions. I am the CEO and Chief Forensic Operator here at Barricade Cyber. We are, an evergreen. We are going to be around for a long, long time. We are the organization that comes in if anything ever happens to you and your business. We are that. Now, so we have I think it's just the way that things kind of flowed in, but you kind of look at the line cards here. You got Barricade, you got Panoptcy, and then you have Antisyphon, which is Black Hills Information Security. So you have post-breach, you have pre-breach, and hey, let's train your people, right? So let's talk about that. So Panoptcy Security is that organization that's going to give you, as a practitioner, power to talk to the C-suite, get that quantified risk assessment, show, as we've said before, many times before, hey, what is the dangers of not doing X, Y, or Z? What's the dangers of what was mentioned a couple of days ago about the open SSH vulnerability? How big of a blast radius will we have if we don't patch this and this thing gets pwned? There's a couple of things that I've seen, titles in the news today that I do know for a fact is going to definitely whip out the dolphin in me. So if you're looking to shore up your environment, you're looking for that leverage to get what you've been wanting done to make your organization more secure, definitely talk to Panoptcy Security, and talk to them also about training your team, things of that nature with Black Hills Information, Panoptcy training. I'm a huge fan of SANS. Those who know, I've always touted them. I do know that they are very, very expensive. They are the Cadillac of the training arm for information security. But folks like John Strand, who owns and operates Black Hills Information Security, does that whole training arm of Antisyphon training. Weird name, amazing results. I have been a student of Bose. I've been a student of the Atomic Red Teaming. That they put on some really, really good content, and I do think it is it's very, very good for what you pay for. You probably should charge more. They do say a lot of times that they suck at capitalism. So, definitely check them out if you are looking for training and you want that good quality training from actual practitioners in the industry. They're not just those folks that are, I once taught or led in a successful MSP, so now I'm going to teach you how to do sales as an MSP kind of garbage. Now, these are much like SANS, much like 13 Cubed and some of those other ones. These are people that are actually day in and day out doing these things, like breaching the cloud, doing Atomic Red Teaming, teaching organizations their new SOC analysts, things of that nature. So, that's when I look at training, that's what I want to be part of my arm, right? People who are living in it, they know the latest and greatest things, not just a book that they read 5 years ago and still teaching it like the common general educational system, right? So with that, we will get started here in just a moment. Please do us a favor. Please do me a huge favor. If you are here, if you're a veteran here, please say Team Live. I'm seeing it in the chat. Hello, John. Hello, Tim. Hello, Steve Mount. Those who are here, please take a moment and smash that thumbs up. Please let people know that we are here. Please let people know how to find information that's going to be relevant to them in their day-to-day operations. We're seeing 162 of you. Let's see if we can't boost that a little bit more and bring some more awareness to this show, and we greatly appreciate it. George Strassenberger, what? Did we just become best friends? Yep. What's going on, buddy? Just subscribed for 13 months. So definitely do appreciate that. I know Dr. Gerald Auger definitely appreciates that as well. If you are coming in late, you are Team Hybrid, listening to me and the music on fast replay or 2x speed, trying to get caught up with the constant ramblings of me. If you are, I always say Team Audio. Hello, I do see you in driving your way to or from work, catching up on the news in the car, or doing your morning run, walk, whatever it is while you are listening to a podcast. I do see you. I do a shout out to you. Wish you could be able to join us in the live stream today and kind of go from there. And please also say hi, what's up? If you are even a passive observer and you just don't know what to say, trust me, the community here, the community in the Discord, do hashtag Discord in the YouTube chat, and there will be a link to join the Discord. You could definitely say, hi, what's up over there. There's so many people that's very welcoming. Dr. Gerald Auger and the mods are over the top helpful, making sure this is an inclusive environment, so that way people are welcome. There are a ton of people who do think it's beneficial to them to public shame, and it's kind of bad. I am one of those folks that I do call a spade a spade. I am just rough around the edges like that. But when people are honestly trying to get into the industry, let's please open up our arms. Let's give them that virtual hug, if you will, and be like, hey, we can't, you know, there's one thing to understand, that you can't just place somebody in there into that cube, but let's at least welcome them. Let's show them the path to go down, so that way they can make the journey themselves and they can be able to be um, able to reach their goals. With that, let's sit back, let's relax. We do have several things in the mid-roll that I do want to talk about. And of course, we want to do some jaw jacking toward the end, to be cognitive of our time. So with that, we will stop the intro music. We will fire up the cool sounds of the CISO series and get started, ladies and gentlemen. Again, thank you so much for doing it, or being here. Greatly appreciate it.
From the CISO series, it's cybersecurity headlines.
It's Wednesday, March 26th, 2023. Vulnerabilities found in Tetra encryption. 3 Dutch security researchers from the firm Midnight Blue discovered severe flaws in the encryption algorithms for Tetra, a European radio standard used for critical voice and data radio communications. One flaw in syncing and keystream generation impacted all algorithms. This could let someone potentially monitor and send commands to critical infrastructure. They also found Tetra's TEA1 algorithm, which uses 80 bits regularly, also featured a mode that reduces its key to 32 bits. They were able to crack that reduced key in less than a minute on a consumer laptop. Tetra has been in use since the 1990s, but up until now its encryption algorithms remain secret. The researchers discovered the flaws back in 2021, but agreed to wait to disclose findings through the Dutch National Cybersecurity Center so that patchable issues could be fixed. The researchers will present a full technical overview at Black Hat.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So if you are interested in different encryption methods that are being used abroad, this is definitely one. So, I actually had to look this up. I know we do our best not to um, see or really dive into what the stuff is, but I really needed to figure out, because I had honestly had never heard of the Tetra encryption system, right? So I wanted to dive into it and see what it is, and it is an encryption method, as you can kind of see by the image there, of secure communications for the UK's radio and security officials, police, EMS, things of that nature. Um, trying to make things more secure. So it is a UK, Europe type of encryption method that's not really used here in the States. From again, the 30-second overview. So if I am wrong, definitely let me know in the chat if that is being used here in the States. Again, this is just an encryption method I had not heard about. So it's kind of cool that they were able to keep this thing as secure as possible for as long as possible. But there is one thing I always state, that if man makes it, man will break it. So um, we've definitely seen a lot of technologies that have been out that have not last 25 years for any sort of framework. So I mean, even here in the US, we can't seem to adopt to 800.171 for a CMMC. We can't seem to adopt MFA. So hats off to you, UK, for being able to do this for so many years successfully. So yeah, I mean, it looks like they did the responsible thing, and they did the proper disclosures. They fixed it, and they're going to do a talk about it. So if you're going to be out at Black Hat, maybe this is something that you want to keep on your radar to attend that the panel of speakers, to see a little bit more information, because a lot of times they do have those weird, goofy slides, and they do kind of talk about things in depth from a technical perspective. So it's pretty cool, right? So put that on your radar again if you're going to be going.
Ryzen CPUs vulnerable to Zenbleed exploit. Google security researcher Tavis Ormandy disclosed the bug on his blog, first reporting it to AMD on May 15th. Zenbleed impacts AMD's entire Zen 2 product line. The flaw allows an attacker to steal sensitive data stored in a CPU, including encryption keys and logins. Cloudflare notes remote attackers can't exploit Zenbleed through website JavaScript. Zenbleed doesn't represent a side channel vulnerability like Spectre, rather it manipulates register files to force a mispredicted command. AMD released a patch for Zenbleed for its impacted EPYC server processors, but its remaining CPUs will not receive patches until at least October.
Wow, October. All right, so let's break this thing down. Okay, so AMD is a chip manufacturer, CPU, and I do think they make a couple other things, but their claim to fame, kind of like Intel, is CPU chip manufacturing. The the Zen is, I believe, the server, much like Xeon is for Intel. Um, yeah, I make those who don't know, casually Joseph that may be in the chat, he works here at Barricade, and always we kind of joke around a little bit, that I'm a boomer, and that we yeah, I used to know all the hardware inside and out. I used to be a hardware guy, especially in my early days of IT. I could do the technical breakdowns of the front side bus cache, or the front side bus, and the caching levels and things of that nature. But so if give me a little bit of leeway, runway, if you will, if I'm misspeaking a little bit on the Zen. Um, Thanks, Joel. I see you in the mod chat. But yeah, the Zen 2, I'm pretty sure the Zen 2 processors is the AMD's server edition. Again, like the Intel Xeons. Um, they're it's not susceptible to JavaScript. It's not, so that's telling me that you're not able to load potentially a web page and be able to do malicious code into it. There's no side loading available to it. Everything here from 30,000 foot view is, you pretty much got to be on that system to pretty much make it do something. So if you're suffering from this, then you're pretty much got bigger issues than your CPU. So the only thing I could think of is why this is a Cloudflare blog, is because Cloudflare may be using AMD Zens for their infrastructure. So interesting. But yeah, I'll definitely read back through this one. But it just kind of reminds me, for some stupid reason. Have any of you folks ever looked at the YouTube videos for showcasing Google's data centers? How they have that open server rack frames and everything like that. Anyway, I don't know why, but just a mention of that. But yeah, the least proactive people are staying proactive, unlike what we've seen in some of the Intel briefs that have come out recently. That they're just going to pass it on to the end user. Oh, I'll talk about that in the mid-roll for a second.
Norwegian government breached with Ivanti 0-day. Norway's National Security Agency announced that it discovered compromised systems across a dozen government agencies. This came from a newly discovered 0-day impacting mobile endpoint management software from Ivanti. While this proved disruptive to the impacted ministries, it did not widely impact overall government operations. Norway contacted businesses using Ivanti solutions in the country, and the company said it's actively engaging with customers to help them apply the fix. Ivanti initially put details of the flaw behind a paywall and reportedly asked customers to sign NDAs before providing information.
Oh my gosh, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go full on. So hackers exploited a 0-day. Okay, great. Sucks to be them. They had a 0-day and they got exploited. And those who don't know, 0-day is literally a cutting edge exploit that's not known in the wild, and there's no media patch. Most of the time, it is under 24 hours of notification to the general public, or not even notified to the general public at all. It's like it is literally right there on the edge, right? So, the whole fact that you're being required to sign NDAs to do disclosure is completely freaking absurd to me, right? You're doing the honest thing. I mean, well, hackers did disclose, exploit it, but the fact that you got to do NDAs is just it just rubs me the wrong way. I used to, those who don't know, I used to do a lot of pen testing. Back in my early days, when I walked uphill both ways, 20 miles to school, you know, on one leg because my other foot was starting a business, all that old crap. And I know the boomer comments are gonna start coming out again, but it's just do better, people. I mean, I'm gonna go get quickly derailed, so we're gonna move on from this one. It's There's more topics that I seen the headlights on that I think I'm going to go completely ballistic on, so I'll save my time for those.
Apple patches Operation Triangulation zero-click bug. It's been a busy month for Apple. It issues its third security update in about a month to fix issues reportedly tied to a Russian spyware campaign targeting iMessage users. The latest patch fixes an actively exploited flaw impacting devices running iOS 15.7.1 or older. Apple credited researchers at Kaspersky for identifying the zero-click exploit used in the attack, dubbed Operation Triangulation. Overall, this campaign targeted a variety of Apple products across iOS, macOS, iPadOS, and watchOS. And now...
Oh, slow down, slow down. I see some of the comments. Let's move it along. That's going to be the running joke of the year. But yeah, Apple has definitely had a lot of problems. Those who don't know, there was some major security bugs in the Apple OS that prompted some major issues. It caused some folks to, hurry up and do some patching. With even some of the security sets that we have inside of our organization, there's like in ours, I don't want to do too much OPSEC, but so for certain procedures, when you're doing MFA and things of that nature, you're not allowed to be more than certain versions behind. So, some organizations that we manage or internally may have had a problem, this week where, we fully expected at least some flexibility in our policies, but it's good to know. But yeah, there's definitely been some issues with it. So if you haven't seen this one, definitely please go patch your Apple crap. Maybe at some point, all the patches will restore the missing piece out of the Apple one day. Who knows? But anyway, let's get on to the mid-roll with CISO series.
A word from our sponsor, App Omni. Over-provisioned users could lead to your most sensitive data being exposed or leaked. Just a single attack on one of those users may compromise your entire SaaS estate. With App Omni's SaaS Identity Fabric, secure and manage end users, entitlements, and threat-based activity. Gain visibility and control into over-provisioned users, the SaaS data they have access to, and receive guided remediation. Get connected with SaaS security experts at appomni.com. MikroTik.
And there is a hint that the next story that's going to really drive me over the wall. Welcome. If this is your first time being here, this is the part of the show that we do call the mid-roll. Let me turn down that audio a little bit because I know that's going to be a little loud. And we definitely want to go through and just kind of talk about some of the stuff that's coming up. The Jack Scott will be co-hosting the how to market your cyber self. That will be coming up a little bit later. Like I said, please send out your prayers and your thoughts and vibes and whatever you may or may not believe in, to him, so that he has a speedy recovery from an injury is about all I'm going to say. But we'll be tuning in and listening to Jack Scott once again today later at 1 p.m. Eastern. Drop the link in the chat. and kind of go from see what they got to talk about today. If you're new here, we definitely do talk about the Simply Cyber Community Challenge. This is the part, if you're not on LinkedIn, please go sign up for LinkedIn. Definitely look for this hashtag, the Simply Cyber Community Challenge, where every day a member of the community comes out and talks about their cybersecurity story, how they got into the industry, maybe their struggles, things of that nature, and you can be able to connect with other like-minded people in the inside of your specific space. Yesterday, we had Phil Wilson that was talked about it. I talked about his cyber story. So Phil Wilson, if you are in the chat, please say what's up, and please do us a favor and pass the baton to somebody else that's going to do their Simply Cyber Community Simply Cyber Community Challenge, and talk about their story. I did post the Phil's LinkedIn post, so if you haven't checked him out and you didn't see that, please go take a moment, look it over. He's holds CompTIA certs. He has Fortinet certs. He's definitely looks like a very accredited individual, so definitely check him out. We did talk about some of the other items. I'm going to do a little small shameless plug here at the mid-roll. The other day, almost 2 days ago, I just put it in the chat, but we did talk about the SAN cybersecurity career affordability. So there is some caveats to it. There is a link here, and actually, let me change the way this layout is. But listen to kind of my debrief a little bit. 30-second or. All of our videos are very, very short. They're pretty much under 10 minutes. But there is a link here so you can be able to find out about it. Our Casually Joseph was going through it. You probably hit him up on Discord a little bit and try to get some of the insights. But if I'm not mistaken, you have to have a bachelor's degree. You got to be in the space or aspiring to be in the space. But essentially, they're going to help pave the way to get you across that finish line with SAN certificates to be able to go through and be able to get into that industry. The one thing that has not been mentioned so far that I have seen, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, throwing the YouTube link here as well, where we all love our reports and things of that nature, and IBM did release their rising cost of data breaches. So check that out. Again, link for there is also in there in our chat that we normally do. And also bookmark this one that's coming up tomorrow. This one definitely looks like it's going to be an interesting, where Dr. Gerald Auger will be doing a talk with Dr. Keith Jones. That just reminds me, doctor. But he hosts the E-Crime Bites podcast, and this looks like it's going to be a very good talk. So definitely check it out and bookmark that on your things to do coming up this week if you are looking to learn more about other people. So anyway, we will carry on with the the top cyber news of the day, and try to again stay on track, because we do have 15 minutes for base case, and I do want to squeeze in some Q&A at the end here. So
routers vulnerable to total takeover attacks. Researchers at VulnCheck published details on a privilege escalation vulnerability in the router OS used by MikroTik routers. This allows attackers to obtain a root shell on the router, letting them install arbitrary tools. MikroTik released a patch for the vulnerability and urged owners to apply it quickly. Shodan showed that up to 900,000 vulnerable routers remained online as of July 18th. While the attack requires authenticated access on a router, the researchers note Router OS ships with an admin account by default with an empty string password. ChatGPT.
All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. I was a massive component for MikroTik in the early days. Um, they were in their own right. They are a poor man's Cisco. What you can do with a MikroTik is freaking unbelievably incredible. And for the price, it just made sense to do it, right? But it's not a firewall. We've even had cases before where you know, they're like, "Oh, well, our network was, bypassed by our firewall." No, Mo. Anytime you look on a MikroTik, it never says firewall. It says router. It's a it's a router, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it is. It's a Netgear. It's a Cisco. It's a freaking router, and that's what it is. There's no security in it. Even though they try to pertain it, they there was a time, and it may still be there. And this is really where I was gonna go off the deep end on. But MikroTik has had such problems with data breaches, with RCEs, with vulnerabilities. If you literally have a MikroTik that is public facing, somebody needs to have very stern words with you with a very blunt object. Um, I do know that the WISP industry, wireless internet service provider, for those rural areas, they love their MikroTik. Um, the MikroTik switches are decent, especially for that industry. Their point-to-point access points are decent for that industry, but you know that is infrastructure versus front end, right? So if you have this thing again, so we need to have some serious conversations about your life choices. You know, when you're in information security or infosec for short, yeah, when you start looking at the software you're going to use and the hardware that you're going to use to help support it and protect it, you need to do some due diligence and say, how many times over the past 5, 10 years have they had a security issue? Oh, they've had that many? Well, maybe, let's dive into a little bit more. And it's what were those vulnerabilities? What was those exploits? And doing your homework and be like, yeah, this is a security risk. Yeah, is definitely something you should do. And I just feel bad because most of the time when we get brought in on cases, there is two sides of the business where the IT technologist, the MSP, whatever, they do make legitimate recommendations to the business owner, and they say, it's an acceptable risk, because they haven't had a Panoptcy uh, quantified risk assessment. Shameless plug to those folks over there. But they say it's an acceptable risk, and they just move along. But I do believe in some of the things with MikroTik. You know, the end user, the business owner just doesn't know the difference, to be quite honest with you. So, I really do hold this to the technologist and, the MSPs and stuff like that. If you're using this stuff, because I can tell you the MikroTik is advanced enough that your common end user is not going to be using this stuff. It's a little advanced for them. It's definitely, even though they do have the Winbox application, so that way you can do the management. It's not full CLI. It hasn't been for a little while, but there's enough to it to make a generalist end user want to scream for the hills and just throw it out the window and get something a little bit more user friendly for them. So, um, anyway, I knew I was going to go a little long on this one when I see MikroTik in the headline. I'm like, yep, that's going to be a topic I'm going to destroy. So anyway, if you got MikroTiks in there, please get rid of them. Please, please, please get rid of them. They have been a dumpster fire for many years. Um, I want to go literally play in traffic every time I come up on engagement and I see one of them, especially acting as routers, quote unquote firewalls, because they implemented snort or something into it, and just what the anyway, please do your homework on vendors, ladies and gentlemen. Please, please, please do your homework on vendors. And with that, we'll carry on.
GPT comes to Android. OpenAI published the ChatGPT app in the Google Play Store. It launched on iOS back in May. The Android version comes first to the US, India, Bangladesh, and Brazil, with other markets to follow. After breakneck downloads when it debuted, Sensor Tower reported the app saw roughly 10% drops in downloads and time spent in June.
I did see this come across my feed the other day or yesterday, or maybe even the day before. Um, yeah, I've really got mixed feelings about the Chat GPT, Beard, Open AIs, the one that you can put into Microsoft's Azure ecosystem. Um, you know, there's a time and place for it. I just think maybe having this on your phone, I don't know. Maybe I'm too much of a minimalist. And definitely I just don't see the need for it. I will put this in the comments. And goodness gracious, I got the windows backwards. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. I never moved it back. But if you see a need for Chat GPT, Beard, OpenAI, whatever, on your mobile device, please put it in the comments and tell me your use case. I'm really, really interested to find that out, right? Because maybe my tinfoil hat is a little glued on too tight these days, but I just think this is, this could be too many nefarious items, right? Um, hey, help me do help me nail this interview or whatever. I don't know. Again, maybe too much tinfoil hat, but it really is interesting though. As a side comment, didn't we just see a couple months ago where everybody says that, hey, we need to pump the brakes on AI, and now we're getting it on our mobile phones. um, I don't know. Maybe what Elon Musk said is true, where it's gone too far to slow it down or stop it. Um, I don't know. So we'll kind of see how it goes. Anyway, on to the next story. And seriously, if you've got a use case for GPT on your mobile device, tablet, whatever, I'm really interested to know what your use case is, because I personally don't see it. So educate me a little bit.
Mastodon grappling with CSAM. Researchers at the Stanford Internet Observatory discovered over 600 pieces of known or suspected child sexual abuse material, or CSAM, on the decentralized social network. The researchers collected data over a 2-day period, but said they discovered the first instances within 5 minutes of searching. They also discovered about 2,000 hashtags associated with CSAM. One of the report's authors, David Thiel, said it saw more hits on known CSAM hashes in its initial research phase than on any other social media analysis. Thiel also said Mastodon struggles with CSAM due to its volunteer moderation and rudimentary reporting tools.
All right. I got to be very careful what I say. Give me a second, because if this was just my channel, I would go full effing nuclear. I think Dr. Gerald Auger will give me a little runway with this, but I definitely need to be inclusive, or I need to be careful on exactly what I say, because I don't care about being canceled over a topic like this. but these are child abuse situations really are, you know what? In the interest of not going too far, just know that this story exists, and I'm going to move on because I'm going to get myself into a lot of trouble. Forgive me though if y'all really want comments on that. I can't without getting myself in trouble. Sorry.
Imperva acquired for $3.6 billion. The French aeronautics and defense multinational Thales Group intends to acquire the cybersecurity firm Imperva from the private equity firm Thoma Bravo. The company said the acquisition price implied a value of 17 times Imperva's operating earnings forecast for the next year. Thoma Bravo took Imperva private back in 2019. The acquisition will bring Thales into the application security market and give it a larger footprint in the U.S. Thales expects the deal to close in 2024.
That is interesting. So Tommy Bravo, if you don't know, they are massive in the freaking space. So Tommy Bravo is a private equity firm. Tommy Bravo. I know they own a ton of tech companies. Let's see. Yeah, they did. My gosh. So they're a private equity firm, right? I'm not looking for the exact list. My Google Food's a little off this morning. User testing, sell point. Yeah, I'm not finding the exactly. Oh, here we go. Maybe this is it. So yeah, here we go. I'll drop this in the YouTube chat. And Bashir. Sorry if I'm butchering your name. No relation to Johnny Bravo. But they own a ton of tech industries. You know, even your infamous Barracuda. You know, BombGuard, which is a remote access tool. They own a lot of MSP stuff like ConnectWise, Continuum. They just own a ton of stuff. Where they essentially come in and they buy in a bunch of items and whether they make it good or if they make it better by the acquisition is very argumentative. But yeah, they own a ton of stuff. So they definitely got their fingers into a lot of stuff, and it is for me, it is a moment of pause where I understand the PE firms, again, private equity, they are in the business to acquire companies, grow them up, and then sell them off. It's like flipping your house, and you're doing that over and over and over and over and over again. It's just when you have that big of a portfolio, it does make me a little nervous. Like, what exactly are you doing owning investment inside of so many organizations, right? So anyway, that's it for the Simply Cyber top cyber news of the day. Hope you have enjoyed everything. Again, yeah, it's definitely some of the topics definitely get a little borderline, so we definitely got to walk back on some of those topics so we don't get myself in trouble. So hopefully everybody understands that and is respectful of my decision to not go full nuclear on that. With that, I want to thank you. If you're just tuning in for the news, thank you so much for joining us today. I do greatly appreciate it. From the bottom of my heart, please, if you're leaving, please smash that that thumbs up button. Please share this content with somebody who you think will benefit from hearing Either my rantings or Dr. Gerald Auger, in his daily cyber threat briefings, delivering from a CISO's perspective and being able to level up and know what the latest things are in your industry. If you are here for the Q&A, please type in the top in the chat Q : and your question. Again, like I said, I do want to answer a couple quick questions before parting ways today. Space Tacos, yes, you do get to get the sea shanty. Those who don't know, at the end of any of all of our videos, we have a closing banner that's sea shanty from. So it's pretty cool. I like it. Let's see. Question from the one and only Carrie. Oh no! Don't report. What am I doing? Why is it not showing? Let's see. Carrie asks. Let me actually put this. I'm doing this in the wrong window. That's why. Because I am a goofball. Area. All right. I had tried to apply for a remote company, and I had to scan my computer to see if I met qualifications for a computer, and they didn't like my computers. Carrie, then I would say if you don't like it, then you provide one. I mean, dude, it's whatever. Some organizations are very, very weird about that, right? So, hopefully you get it. I don't think that that's a disqualification, right? So, if they don't like it, then they can tell you to tell them to freaking send you one, right? So, I mean, they would have to do it if you were in the office, right? They'd have to provide you. So, I'll push back on them, Carrie. All right. Let's see. I seen one with a question here. Anyone got a bachelor's degree from this? So this is a general community question. So if y'all didn't see it or look at it, look at Leon's question, because definitely a general community question. Leon, also go over to the Discord chat and ask that question as well. I do know there's a lot of people that do come in on team replay, later in the day. So definitely ask that over there. Again, if you are not on Discord, do that exclamation Discord in chat, and I believe it does show up even when Dr. Gerald Auger is not here. Sorry, there wasn't a question. Okay, yeah, no worries. All right, what I'm going to assume this is a question for me. Then I start with the letter Q. Again, if you're asking me questions, definitely put a Q in the front so I can quickly identify it. What are your top 3 free resources for beginners to learn cybersecurity? I would definitely say get in with Black Hill's Antisyphon. There are some pay what you can courses, and they literally do. I know they're a sponsor of the show, but I've been saying it before they even were a sponsor. They have several pay what you can courses, and they have a wide variety, right? Just like in IT, you could be hardware tech, you could be a sysadmin, you could be a network admin, you could be many different things. But just saying, you want to be a cybersecurity, what exactly do you want to do in cybersecurity? Or do you want to be a guy like me that hunts evil in DFIR? Do you want to do, you want to be a remediation specialist? Do you want to do reverse malware analyst? Do you want to be that threat hunter in a SOC? And so those who don't know, SOC is short for Security Operations Center. They're more in the blue team, so it really depends on exactly where you want to fit in. But Black Hills Information Security, they have a wide breadth of different courses in different spaces that you can be able to take and kind of figure out what specifically aligns with what your thoughts are, right? So hopefully that answers your question. I know it's not the exact one, but those questions are always a little loaded. I always want to like, you need to narrow your scope down just a little bit for a proper answer. Any recommendations on home lab scripting projects to help get experience? Also, what are your thoughts on the value of GitHub with building a portfolio? Tips on building one? Dash, home lab. So yeah, I've done home labs before. Definitely check out eBay. Oh, so I guess this kind of falls back to the other one. Home lab, are you talking about like, again, what are you trying to do with your home lab? Are you, there's on eBay, there's, home labs for like Cisco gear and Fortinet gear. So if you're looking for like a home lab for network infrastructure, things of that nature, there's plenty of stuff out there. If you're looking for, information on previous cases and stuff like that, we could do potential threat hunting and look for evil and stuff like that. I would say, go out to dfirreport.com. There's a lot of stuff that gets posted in their reports, and they have public links where you can go download the memory forensics and network forensics and things of that nature. So it really depends exactly what you're trying to do with your home lab to properly, advise. You can see how, I can make a recommendation that has absolutely no bearing on you, right? So, scrolling through. Thanks, mods. I appreciate you. Let's see. It came in from LinkedIn. Question: you mentioned some SANS training. You didn't mind repeating that again? Oh, I think I know what you're talking about in that mid-roll. Let's pull that up. So, unfortunately, you got to be over on the YouTube. But if you don't, let me, in the link down here in the signature line, just look for me /ransomware on LinkedIn. Send me a message there if you're not able to get on YouTube, and I will send you that link directly if you're not able to get that. Question from Steve Mal. Some of these I'm actually finding in our beloved mod chat. Thanks again to the mods. I do greatly appreciate everything that you do. So I'm trying to find it in here just so I can showcase it in here, but I'm not able to. But Stephen Mount asks, what's a good pathway for threat analysis? That would be another one for, starting off with Black Hills Information Security. They have some threat analysis courses over there. And atomic red teaming, things of that nature. So, being able to, do that and then go, SANS has got a ton of classes there as well. So, definitely check those out. Tommy Two Thumbs asks, question: I am very interested in offensive security. Stop being offensive, Tom. But is there a path to that without taking an expensive course? Oh yeah. Pink dude. It's right there on the edge of my tongue. Cyber Mentor. He's massive in that space. So definitely check out the Cyber Mentor. He's got education classes over there for offensive security. He's definitely somebody that you'd want to check out. I'll stick around for a few more moments if you have any remaining last questions. getting pinged in here. PNPT. All right, Joel, I'm a boomer. What is PNPT? Help educate me. So question, I want to make sure, did you say Black Hill? No, Black Hills Information Security, BHIS for short. Oh, Joel, thanks for clarifying. So the mods, Joel B is mentioning the practical network pen test through TCM. That was the other thing I was thinking of. TCM is the Cyber Mentors platform for training, so definitely check that out. See some comments in here about WGU, online college. A lot of people had some varying success with that. Grab me a second while I go through. I'm not seeing any. Oh, here we go. I'm already questioning from Luke. I am already a cyber analyst and deal mostly with compliance and change management. I'm interested in cyber threat intel. Any ways to move towards that? Literally, Luke, it's going to be the training. I would say that, yeah, you've got, honestly, Luke, you probably have done the hardest part. The reporting aspect of things and doing change compliance and change management is literally some of the hardest stuff for a lot of analysts to accomplish. So again, I think you've completed the hard task of that. If you don't have the technical knowledge on that, that's pretty easy to do. Hats off to you. Even I suffer from trying to get reports right and make it look decent so that way people understand it, right? Question in from Cameron. Question: how can someone narrow down what it is that one should focus on their efforts on? Cameron, you've got to find out what drives you. What are your passions? What really sparks an interest, right? Otherwise, you're just not going to be happy. I mean, I think you've been hacked. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat and mods. I think even Hack the Box had some DFIR courses. I think Casually Joseph was telling me about that about 2 months ago in some of our internal conversations. I mean, you can try Hack the Box stuff if that's right. So you can get a little bit of pen testing if they have the DFIR stuff. Go through the Black Hills, some of the pay what you can type of courses, introductory to SOC and whatever. And when you're going through those courses, try to imagine yourself, being in that role in a day-to-day operation, and be like, oh yeah, I really like this. I really like doing X task, and that will help drive you, right? So. You really got to feel it. Unfortunately, there's no easier way. I really wish there was an aptitude test or something like that. Like, you'll be really good at threat hunting. So it's just something you got to go through. Unfortunately, you got to walk. This is kind of like what I said before. You can't just drop somebody into a cube and expect them to excel. In the community, we got to open up the path and let those people walk down. That's kind of what it is. That's what I'm talking about. You got to let people walk down that path so that way they can do their own discovery. See you later, Joel Belton. I Thank you so much for your help. I greatly appreciate it. He's dipping out. I'll stick around for one more moment. And as Billy DP said, yes, please do. Please smack that thumbs up button. Please help us out. Please help us spread the word about this awesome, awesome community. And with that, we are at the top of the hour, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks again to Dr. Gerald Auger for allowing me the honor of being able to fill in for his shoes and be able to go deliver this morning's top cyber threat news briefings to you. With that, please go out, please crush it, and please, as always, stay secure. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care.
There once was a kid whose passwords laid across all sites. They were the same, a criminal then found their fame by taking that data to go.
Soon may a criminal come to steal your pictures and data and run. One day when the crime is done, they'll steal your account and go.